Jade lied to Tabitha's face about the one thing that mattered most, and almost nobody breaking down this finale has noticed that the show just handed us proof that pulling up the bottle tree may not have freed them at all. It may have released something the tree was built specifically to contain. The finale confirms that the bones Jade and Tabitha dug up in the tunnels really were the remains of the Ankui children. But here is the detail almost every recap is glossing over. Jade lied about those bones actually protecting them from the creatures. Think about that for 1 second. The entire plan risking 2 lives, sending Boyd, Fatima, and Ellis on a rescue mission, uprooting a tree that the boy in white directly warned them not to touch was built on a claim Jade knew was not true. And here is something even stranger that nobody in the show ever questioned out loud, not even Boyd. Why was that specific tree sitting directly above the grave of the sacrificed children in the first place? Every other piece of Fromville's mythology has been deliberate. The talismans were placed with intention. The rituals require exact conditions. So why would the showrunners put the literal only escape route to a centuries-old grave directly underneath a tree that the show's own guiding spirit specifically begs them not to disturb? Here is the theory I have not seen anywhere else covering this finale. The bottle tree was never meant to be an exit. It was meant to be a lid. The moment the tree comes up, red lightning shoots out of the hole where it used to stand, lashing the sky with a vicious storm in the middle of the day. The midday nightfall, the earthquake, and the fierce red lightning storm all seem directly correlated to the falling of that tree. And beyond that, Sophia's powers seem to grow far more limitless in the wake of losing it. That is not the reaction of a town finally being unlocked. That is the reaction of something ancient finally being unsealed. If the original couple who tried and failed to save these children centuries ago understood that their failure would trap something dangerous alongside the children's remains, planting a tree directly above that grave is exactly what you would do to keep both things buried together for as long as possible. Jade and Tabitha did not just retrieve bones tonight, they may have broken the one barrier standing between Fromville and something the town itself has been quietly containing since the very first cycle. If you are enjoying this breakdown, hit subscribe right now and the bell, because the next theory connects directly into why the man in yellow wanted this exact outcome the entire time. And it changes how you should be watching every single episode of Season 5. Let's talk about what else fell apart the moment the tree came down. Their escape route was compromised after Clara maliciously cut their ladder rope. While Sophia had been operating freely behind the mask of a girl, nobody suspected, leading to a brutal assault on a man who simply refused to play along. Sophia had locked Elgin and Clara in the diner after Elgin discovered an old photograph proving the man in yellow can take the form of dead townspeople. And when Elgin refused to do her bidding, she killed him, choosing faith over betrayal right up to the very end. She offered him a way home in exchange for his help, and he simply wasn't buying it, praying for salvation instead of switching sides, and she killed him by aggressively squeezing his hands until he bled from the eyes and mouth. That single image, a man choosing to die praying rather than live by making a deal, is the emotional core this finale needed, and it is the kind of quiet heroism that gets buried under bigger plot moments unless someone actually stops to talk about it. While that was happening, Mari was killed after Smiley entered the clinic, when an earthquake dislodged the protective talisman, and as Fatima began transforming into one of the creatures, Smiley actually referred to her as, quote, "mother," before fatally attacking Mary. That single word, mother, deserves far more attention than it has gotten. Fatima's transformation had nothing to do with the dark trait of sacrificing children for immortality that built this entire mythology. It was slow, purely physical, and completely against her will, beginning shortly after the birth of Smiley itself. If Smiley genuinely sees Fatima as a parent, then what we watched tonight was not a monster attacking a clinic. It was a child going looking for the only person who ever showed it. Something resembling care and Fatima's choice to face the creatures alone in those tunnels to buy the others time was not just heroic sacrifice. It was a mother stepping between her child and the people she loves, even knowing which side she now belongs to. By squaring off against the monsters, Fatima likely bought Tabitha, Jade, Boyd, and Ellis enough time to escape with the bones, her newfound monster-like capabilities granting her a fight none of her companions combined could have managed. And this was the real reason she insisted on going into the tunnels in the first place, already understanding exactly what she was. Now, here is where every single thread of this finale collides into the moment that actually matters for everything coming next. Sophia tells Clara that the sky darkening in the middle of the day means the end is coming, and she's going to light the match that will set the whole place burning. And she does this by stealing every single talisman in town while everyone else is distracted by chaos. After rounding them all up, she throws them down the faraway tree, rendering them lost completely, and the show has never directly depicted this town going without talismans before, which means for the first time in this entire mythology, there is now a true ticking clock, because the residents can only survive so long with zero protection left. In the final 2 minutes of the episode, the boy in white finally appears beside Sophia in the forest and tells her plainly, quote, "They have the bones," followed by, quote, "You're gonna lose this time." Sophia is completely undeterred. She happily informs him that even so, the bottle tree is gone, and the fact that this is good news for the man in yellow can only mean bad news for everyone left in this town. Read that exchange again carefully because it confirms the theory directly. The boy in white treats retrieving the bones as a win for the residents. The man in yellow treats losing the tree as a win for himself. Two opposing forces, both looking at the exact same event, and both walking away satisfied, which only makes sense if the bones and the tree were never the same victory condition at all. The residents got something they needed. The man in yellow got something he wanted even more. The showrunners themselves have now confirmed exactly why every single resident besides Tabitha and Jade ended up trapped here in the first place. They were each pulled in at a crossroads moment in their own lives, and all of them, without exception, were drawn in because they heard the cries of the children. Minnows caught in a shark's net exactly as Jade once described his own past lives. That detail recontextualizes the entire season retroactively. Every single character we have followed across 4 seasons was never randomly thrown into Fromville. They were summoned by grief that was centuries old, calling out for help from people who happened to be standing at the exact emotional breaking point required to actually answer it. Which raises the most unsettling question this finale leaves us with, heading into the final season, if the children's cries are what pulled every resident into this town in the first place, and those same children are now finally free? Does the town lose its ability to pull anyone else in at all? Or does whatever was sealed beneath that bottle tree become the new voice calling out into the world instead? Drop your theory in the comments right now. Do you think the bottle tree was protecting the town from something worse than the creatures? And what do you think the man in yellow actually gained tonight? And subscribe, because this channel will be covering every single piece of Season 5 the moment new details drop.